Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. In this video tutorial, I'm going to share how to create a greeting card holder from a 12 by 12 piece of two-tone cardstock. In the holder, I have 4 Christmas cards that are created with some of Stampin' Up's product and 4 envelopes. You should be able to get a few more cards in this holder, at least a couple more. And it closes by just latching this, and it is so fun to create. This was one of my projects at my 2024 holiday stamp camp. So this video tutorial is to show the attendees how I prepared the card holder, because it was received to them like this, but I decided to share this video tutorial with everybody. So it's a public video, so you can get all the details to create this holder. When I'm done creating the holder, I do have another sample to share with you that I created out of white cardstock. So let's get started. The first thing we need is the 12 by 12 piece of two-tone cardstock. This is in Stampin' Up September 2024 scrapbooking brochure. This brochure is not printed, it's available online. And the two-tone cardstock is on page 2, and I'm using the Real Red. Two-tone cardstock is printed on a white cardstock, and it is lighter than Stampin' Up's Stampin' Up's colored cardstock, but it's printed on white. So the inside is white. You have the Real Red on one side and a light version of Real Red on the other side. So I'm going to be using the Real Red. I'm going to bring my Simply Scoring tool in to the picture here to show you how I scored this. If you are interested in making this, I will provide this diagram on my blog. If you found me via YouTube, look in the text portion of this video. You'll get a direct link to my blog post, and you can download this tutorial or the PDF project sheet for these measurements. So the first measurements along one of the 12 by 12 sides is 3 inches and 9 inches. So I'm going to take the large end of the stylus and hold the cardstock in the corner against this wall and hold on to it with one hand, and then score at 3 inches and at 9 inches. Now, I already told you that there's white on the inside, and because of that, I'm going to score both sides. So I'm going to flip this over and score again at 3 and at 9, right on top of those previous score lines. That's going to burnish both sides, so it should fold easier, and it should not crack to see that white inside. So that's on one side. Now, if you rotate the cardstock and look at the other side, we have 4.5, 5.5, 10, and 11. So 4, and put it in the corner, hold on to it, 4.5, 5.5, 10, and 11. Now I'm going to flip this and score again on those very same measurements. 4.5, 5.5, 10, and 11. Now back to this rotation like this, you can see that there's 4 diagonal score lines right here. The dash is the score line. The solid is a cut line. So what I'm going to do before I create those diagonals is I'm going to fold this. So I'm going to set this off to the side for the time being. Now I want the dark red to be the outside. So I'm going to flip this over. This will be the inside. So I'm going to fold all of these score lines inward. When I'm looking, when the outside is on the bottom, this is the inside, I'm going to fold them all inward. And then this will be the outside, and this will be the inside. So I'm going to do this first because there's 2 reasons I want to, well, one main reason I want to do this is it helps define these corners and easier to make that diagonal score line. If you were using designer series paper that was more pliable, you could just fold it and crease it, but because it's cardstock, we want to score it first. So again, back to folding, we're going to fold all of these inward. And so we're going to just fold it like that. And as I mentioned, it helps define the corner to make these score lines. So the one way you can do that is get one of these little rulers at an office store and put it in the corner and along one of the score lines to define that. And then you can take your stylus and probably take the small end. Will be easier to do that, and score that. And that's going to help crease that. All right, so that's going to help make that crease and make that fold, that score line. Now, then I'm going to just fold it like that with my fingers. So did you see how I did that? I just put this corner, this is a 45-degree angle, scored it, and then folded that. Now, if you have been purchasing Stampin' Up! Product for a while and you happen to already have the Simply Scoring tool, and years ago purchased the diagonal plate that's no longer available, you're going to want to use that. So I'm going to show you that option. Place this, there's an arrow on the back, make sure that arrow is pointing up to this side. Put this in the corner. Then what I do is I place this in the corner. Now my angles are going this way. I just place this in the corner so it's squared up. I take my stylus, I take the larger end of the stylus, I go right in that corner, then I follow that channel up to the top. Now the diagonals are going this way, so I can keep it here. I don't know if I'm in the camera, I'm going to move it up like this. If I keep it here, I'm going to go down to this point, find that corner, and just follow this, the channel down. I'm going to rotate this. The angles are going this way. I already scored this one. I'm just going to score it again. And then I'm going to go to this one. Make sure you're all in the corner there. Put your stylus in the corner and follow the channel down. That created those diagonal score lines. This is a retired product. I do not like to share retired products on a current video, but some of you may already own that and it's going to work out really nice. If you don't own it, you can use this. Or you can do some measurements, which I think it's easier to get the 45-degree ruler. So we're going to close this. You can hopefully see those diagonals there. Now what we want to do is fold those. I already folded that one. You're going to basically put that down and hold that down. And let's see, I'll hold it this way. Just use your fingers. I don't use my bone folder for this because I don't want to break the fibers. I just want to fold them. I'm going to take this edge and meet it up on this edge, and it's already defined for the score line. The beauty of this video, you can pause it, you can rewind. My videos are unedited. Sometimes I misspeak, but if you watch what I'm doing, hopefully it makes sense. So I'm going to fold this one down. I'm going to fold this score line next. So I'm going to make sure I crease that. I'm bringing this line right here, this straight line to this straight line. When you do that, it defines that fold for you. Then you can just use your fingers to crease that. So we're done on that side. Going to fold this one down. I'm going to just put my finger there and hold that corner, bring this straight edge to that straight edge, and then use my fingers to crease that 45, and then rotate it. Put my finger there to help get that corner started. Get this straight edge to meet to that straight edge, line them up, and use my finger to fold that score line. And that is how we create that part of the box. Now, all of these were folded in, but these two need to be folded the opposite. So now I hold it like this, fold this down. Again, I just use my fingers. I don't want to crack the cardstock. You don't want to score it so hard with a bone folder you're cracking it. So there we have that part, and this is going to go inside here. A couple things I do to make it easier to go in here. We're going to put some adhesive on it to kind of hold it in place. And also, I think it works nice to have a little opening here to help just guide that in. And also, it's a visual for the person you give it to know that there's a place to open it there. I'm going to just place this down, and let's see if I have a pen or pencil handy. Goodness, let's grab this decorative one. Maybe it writes. I'm just going to take my marker here and make a mark right here. And hopefully you can see what I did. I just put a mark on the inside of that. I'm just marking the center. I'm going to take my 2-inch circle punch and bring that in, and you just decide. I'm centering that with that mark, and you just decide how big you want that to be. Don't make it really big, just big enough to make a little indentation there. And I'm using a 2-inch circle punch. You could use a different size circle punch if you chose. Okay, so that is done. And then I said we want to put some adhesive down. On my diagram, I show you where I'm putting my adhesive. There's a couple things you need to know on this area. We want to make sure we don't put any adhesive where that flap is going in. Otherwise, this flap will not fit in. So you have to avoid this area. And also you have to be cautious that you don't put adhesive somewhere that it's exposed on the inside. So I felt the best way to do that is just open this up and put your adhesive a little bit. You don't need a lot of it. And I'm just using my regular adhesive, and I've got that shown right here. So that is just placed right there and right there. It's going to avoid this area, and it's actually just going to help keep this from flapping open. You could survive without putting adhesive on there. It will work, but I like to close that up. Now this is still open for that flap. On this side, I've played around with different places to put adhesive. I found it best to just put adhesive here and here and here and here. If you put it across here, if you have a gap there, you're going to have exposed adhesive. I wasn't worried about filling that gap. That's totally okay with me. But if you want to fill that gap, you're going to have to do that when you fold it. So if you put your adhesive here and here, and you can see my tape runner didn't start right away. I'm okay with that. There's plenty of adhesive that is going to hold that. I don't need to go right to that fold line. I'm going to go here and put adhesive here and here. So it's here and here, and close that down. So that is creating the box. One more thing I like to do is I like to cut off a little bit of this first tab to make it easier to get this to go inside here, okay? It would most likely fit, but I'm going to cut a little bit off. I'm also going to just fold this down and crease that a little bit. I've already shared, I only use my fingers. A bone folder, I think, is going to crack that, and then you're going to see white on the inside. It's not a problem if you do, but that's what I'm trying to avoid. Okay, back to this. So what I'm going to do is go about 1/8 of an inch over and make a cut right to that fold. I'm not measuring anything. I'm eyeballing it. So this is the corner, about 1/8 of an inch over, and angle right up to that point. Now I'm going to test it to see if it works. And it works, and that is the closure. That is how you create this box. And like I said, my class, we put 4 cards and 4 envelopes, but I think you can get 6 in there. If they're simple cards, you can even put more in there. So this was the project for the stamp camp, and this one I created with Stampin' Up's Willow White cardstock, and it's 12 by 12 in size, and I have the Mediterranean Blooms Designer Series paper and 4 cards that I've created with that. And this cardstock also works great for this holder. So these are so fun to create. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And like I mentioned, the beauty of the video tutorial is you can pause it, rewind it, rewatch, and hopefully be able to make these with the 12 by 12 papers. I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like my free project sheets, I would love to have you like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Thanks for stopping by. Take care and happy creating.